But when I left Safaricom, I remember Bien and Savara, they all the guys came to the farewell, and specifically Bien and Savara stand out because they both came, and I thought they'd come to sing at my farewell, and they brought me a really beautiful portrait, hand-drawn, as my farewell gift. And Bien, being Bien, was like, Mr. Kuja farewell yako, nimekuja, we need to meet, sir. So I said, okay. He said, now that you're out of Safaricom, you need to help us with Soulfest.
So back to you. Again, there's an asset that I want to find out when it comes in. So the Kenya Live comes in. Kenya Live, the only reason, maybe it wasn't under you in terms of eventing, like you said, but it changed the music industry.
It did, because that was the first time that live music, because I think the only people doing live music at that point was Giuliani and Sauti Sol. And what I loved about both of them was playback was not an option.
Yep.
Sauti Sol played their own instruments. If you hire Giuliani, you are hiring Giuliani with his band, or forget it.
Yep.
But now we're saying everybody coming on this stage has to perform live.
Why I also say that this thing changed people's lives?
It did.
Financially. I'll give a perfect example. I was mentoring a young man at the time. He only had 2 big songs. Ekodida.
Yes.
Ekodida made it to Safaricom Live with 2 songs and over $1 million shillings, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Like
and
that,
his performance to this day remains something that I think was fabulous. His live performance.
Yes.
Comparatively, if we play back, I mean, when Ekodida performed Nikona,
yes,
you would stand out of just happiness, because you were like, my God, look at the power of what live music can do. If you just even looked at Sauti Sol and them doing their own instruments, each one of them can play.
Yes.
And then formalizing, then they came on Nikona, first.
And this
so
is
Kenya
Safaricom
Live became Nikona.
This is
Kenya
Sauti
Live.
Sol. This is Kenya Live. Sorry, Kenya Live when Sauti Sol were not on Kenya Live.
No, so Kenya Live happened.
Wait. What was the thinking behind Kenya Live? Were you?
I don't know if I can speak with it on authority, but I do know that the big game changer was that we were going to do a countrywide tour, which I don't think had been done so deliberately by any brand.
And definitely not at that scale.
And it was live and not at that scale, and it wasn't all the artists we all love on one stage. That had never happened. And here is Safaricom telling you that's going to happen. So whether you're in Machakos or Kisumu or Eldoret or Mandera, you are going to watch these people that you saw on TV, Nameless, Juakali, Red Sun, all these guys were going to be on one stage.
Wow.
So that was a big deal. And I think it was just, Safaricom at that time was the biggest supporter of the creative industry and sports in Kenya outside of the government.
Please explain to somebody the trickling down effect. You know, when we say, somebody may be wondering why I'm dwelling so much on this, even before going to the next one.
Yeah.
The trickle down effect of Safaricom plugged into the creative industry resulted in many mouths getting fed.
It did.
You're not just feeding Ekodida or Red Sun or Juakali.
A whole industry, a whole ecosystem was benefiting. There was, let's take it all the way from the guy who's opening the gates to the concert, the security team, the guys who are selling airtime for you to enter the stadium, the guys who are vendors, the sound and tech team, the hospitality team, the makeup artists, the entire ecosystem. There's 2,000 people that are benefiting even without you knowing it immediately. There's the artists themselves. And remember, there's the concerts that are happening, and then there's things like Skiza that are putting money in pockets without this person needing to be physically present.
Was Skiza a product already out during the first Kenya Live?
Yes.
Also, they were together. Was this an incorporation sort of because of Skiza?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Again, I can't speak on
You can't
authority
speak
of it,
okay.
but no, I don't think so.
But there's a time now when you...
But there was an opportunity, because when research has proven that the 2 things Kenyans love most are sport and music. So when you do something big in those 2, you're more likely to win as a brand. So with music, here is Skiza that people thought was just going to be another product, and then it takes off in a big way. Bring back tunes.
Yes.
Then the people who are doing these bring back tunes, you're going to bring them to my town and I can see them. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to download all those ring back tunes. So now Safaricom's making that money back.
Wow.
So that's just the ecosystem worked the way it was. So I think there was a big push for music, for the creative industry. And music, whether it's secular or gospel, was loved by everybody.
So, this 2008, what's your role and position at this time?
I'm still events and sponsorships, 2008, 2009.
Okay, but 2008.
No, that's too early. Kenya Live happened 2010, 2011.
2010, 2011.
Yes.
Okay,
No, 2009. Richie, 2000. Wait.
Yes,
Wait.
you're right. Around 2009.
2009, because I became events and sponsorship and brand assets in 2011, April, when I came back from maternity leave. I was promoted.
Okay.
So I had my third born in December 2010. When I came back in April 2011, I came back to that promotion. Kenya Live was on that year, and I picked up at the tail end of it. So I I owned it toward the tail end of it, and also Sakata Ball. So that's now 2011.
But before that, there's post-election violence.
2008, yes.
You are in eventing.
And in PR.
And what does
manager.
that mean for you? This is a negative thing that's happening. Post-election violence was just...
Yeah, it was difficult for everybody. Look, I'm not going to go too much into it, but it was a trying moment for the entire country. And even for those of us who, remember, we have to keep the network on. We have staff members across the country who need support.
Wow.
We have to keep our base stations on so that the country can continue communicating. A lot of our stations at that time were being run by generators. Fuel has to be taken to those generators. So there's a lot of those considerations. I'm at this level, there's people at this level who are having to deal with this every day. But I remember coming into the office once or twice, requiring to do press releases, all those kind of things, crisis management if needed. Yeah.
From an internal point, and just because is there security communication that's then given to the team? You get, there's no work from home. This is pre-COVID.
So let me tell you something that made me love being in Safaricom even more. And if I had ever thought, and actually around the same time, I was approached by another big multinational brand to go in a bigger position than I was at Safaricom. And this is what made me decline, was how much care Safaricom showed its employees. Everybody and their families had to be safe, and it didn't matter what it took us. There were staff members who were airlifted on helicopters to be brought into Nairobi. There were staff members in Mombasa who were affected. They were taken to Nyali Beach, and we kept them there for a month until it was safe to keep them. So when I saw that and how the management was like everybody, and Richie, if we came into your house to help you and your mom and your grandfather and grandmother and 12 people were living with you, we carried all 12 of you. We were not carrying Richie only because he's the only.
Wow.
So for me, that was a big... If you talk about a brand that really loved its people, that's when I saw it most. There was no money in the world was going to be counted at it, because we have to know. Guys are like, every staff member has to be accounted for and must be safe. And those who are not safe must be brought to safe areas. And it didn't matter what it cost.
The ethos, the DNA of the company was care. And before it is to the external, this is that period when Michael Joseph is still there. Before it is to the external, it is first to the people within the organization.
Look, you're nothing without your people. And the faster we realize that, even in everyday life, you're nothing without your people. These are people who've left what they do every day to come and be a part of this ecosystem, etc. So,
wow, yeah.
So that's when I remember coming home and feeling safe and saying, I know this is a brand that's going to look after me no matter what happens. And then I saw it during COVID again.
Okay. Now that you're outside of Safaricom, I'm sure that DNA is still in you.
Yeah.
and you're trying to incorporate it within the B experience. Yeah.
Yes.
The name of your company is?
The B Experience Company.
Yes. So you're trying to inculcate that inside. What
Yeah.
does that mean? Just doing what was done for you.
Yes. Treat people how you want to be treated. Just be kind, be good to people. These are people who've believed in my brand, who are coming out to be a part of them. It's non-negotiable. Up to a point, Richie, where I've asked 2 clients never to contact us again for work because they disrespected the team. Then I told the team, I said, we went for so I was unwell and I didn't join the team that day. And they went to a recce at JW, and we had already agreed with the team what was the format, etc. And this client kept moving the goalposts, and then one of them really started speaking to my team like they're nobodies and stuff. And obviously now they're like, okay, did Zad agree to something we're not aware of? Did she? So they called me and they said, this is what's going on. We're being shouted at in front of people. She's called us names. She's saying we're the most useful people. We don't know what we're doing. And I asked my team member, I said, just hand the phone over to the lady. Let me try and understand. And she started talking really badly, Richie. And we were like, we haven't even come to a point where we've agreed on, that's the purpose of she was just, I think what had happened is there were discrepancies on her side, and because now her management is there, she wants to deflect on us. And we're like, hey, but we're here with what we're supposed to do. You can't just say, hey guys, I've messed up. It's okay. And so I told her, I said, I'm withdrawing my team. We cannot work like this. So I asked my team, just leave the venue. Yes, we need the work, and we didn't have work that month, but we're not going to work at a space where you're going to disrespect people. That's not the environment we want for our people. We're not slaves. We're not there to... So I asked the team, I said, leave, and they're like, hey, are you sure we'll lose the gig? I said, you leave because you teach people how to treat you. They're treating you how you are accepting it, and then they'll think it's okay to shout. And if they're talking 2 weeks before the event like this, can you imagine during the event how they're going to treat us? So I pulled them out, and then they asked us for a meeting the next day. And in the meeting, I thought they would at least apologize for the behavior, but then denied completely that this ever happened. And then I said, I'm sorry, but we're not going to do your event for you. Please look for another agency. And that's happened twice. One of the brands actually came back this year and we said, unless some things in your culture change, we don't think we can work like that, because it's not about the billing, it's also about the love and respect. And then we have clients that we love, absolutely. They love us, we love them, and you're like, this is what we want. Treat my people well. I'll give you an example. We work with Qual. Qual is one of our clients. Their company culture is fantastic. I really like the way Qual, you can see it even in the employees. Like the first time we had to go and set up an event on their grounds, we were treated like them. We were eating with them in the cafeteria. Some of the brands we work with, we wouldn't even see water. But these guys are like, come, sign in at the cafeteria, eat whatever. You eat. Health and safety is a concern for you as much as is it for them. So their brands, you're like, we're going to fight for you guys. We want to work with you every day. And then the ones that, unfortunately, it doesn't. So to answer your question, yes, people matter, because I don't want Kinaidu sitting in an environment that is not healthy.
Yeah.
Money will come and go, and then what? I leave my people with, what's the word? Affected by a... Nah. And I say this because it sounds like it's a very luxurious position, but we'll find other work. But we're not going to work in an environment that is borderline abusive.
By the way, Yanni, I completely understand that. We've done the same here in my company, where we've just let a person go just because of not how they speak to me, how they speak to the employees. That is a non-negotiable to me. But here's maybe you see Safaricom is sounding very kumbaya right now at this stage. Like, oh my God, you guys just love each other. Is there that same thing happening within Safaricom in these early years? where you're
Look,
being
in
thrown
any-
under the bus
Oh, yeah,
because
come
of
on.
things you've not,
Yes,
you know.
yes, and that's everywhere. It's not unique to Safaricom. It's not unique. It's everywhere. People are looking out for themselves. There's company politics. I'm speaking from how I experienced the brand and
Yeah.
how I chose to be. I could have played into the politics. I could have played into a lot of things, and I refuse to be a part of those things. It's also, what are you willing to clap on? What are you willing to take part in? If I want to play company politics, I could have done it really well and did when I needed to do it, Richie, if the truth is to be said. Everybody has it. Whether you are a small business or a large business, people are looking out for themselves. You're going to fight because your KPI is different from mine, and I will do what it takes to get mine done. Because at the end of the day, I'm sitting in a chair where somebody's going to ask me, what did you achieve this year? Richie is not on my mind. I'm on my mind. So yeah, it sounds very kumbaya, but I'm telling you my positive stories.
I get it.
There's also some horrible stories I can tell you, and I don't choose to tell them today, but I've always told people there are moments that tormented me. They were awful. I wanted to walk out of Safaricom. I hated it. But it was not driven by the company, it was driven by individuals. And if I had let those individuals win, then I think I would have let myself fail. So I stuck it out and I said, actually, this behavior is not a Safaricom behavior, this is a you behavior.
Wow. That's a bit mature. Again, Safaricom, the thing about it is the budgets. The higher you rise, the amount of influence and that you control and the opportunity for you to change people's lives. I mean, you get in a Safaricom live gig turns you into a millionaire. You get what I mean?
And it did, yeah.
It completely turns I remember live gigs did more. It completely changed
If you
more
just
sound.
talk to Jalango, he tells the story really well. I negotiated. In fact, it was so funny, and Jalango tells it really well. But he was at KISS, and we needed. So Kenya Live finished, and then I took over completely and needed to reboot. So at
So
that
what year
time,
now are we?
Now we're at 2011 going into 2012.
Okay.
It's also the same time the brand thematic Nikona. Na for I hear that one.
Yes.
So we wanted something from that to take on the ground to basically get Kenyans to love us, etc. That's why it was called Nikona Safaricom Live, keeping on with that brand ethos. And I needed an MC. We had already used a year prior. We wanted somebody new, somebody fresh. So somebody said to me, do you listen to Caroline in the morning? And I said, yeah. They said, you know Jalango on the station? I said, oh yeah, we should call Jalango. So I called Jalango, I got his number. And I was negotiating with everybody. So I had negotiated with Jaguar, Sauti Soul, Size 8, etc. So I needed an MC. So I called Jalango, and Jalango was like, I don't think he took me seriously. Because remember also, a lot of people were doing fraud calls of, I'm calling you from Safaricom, send me money, la la la. You know, those fraud calls. Jalango thought I was a fraud. He thought I wasn't real. So Caroline Mutoku knows me really well. So Jalango told her in between their morning show, because I'd called him, I think, at 8:39 in the morning. He said, hey, this number has called me. Do you know this woman? She says she's called Zaheeda. So Caroline checked her, as he tells the story, checked and said, she's valid. I know Zah. Answer her call kind of thing. So he calls me back and he goes, okay, what do you want to meet for? I said, I have a new proposition for you. When you're done, and KISS is just down the road from us. When you're done, please come up.
At this time, you've moved to the new offices?
Yes, now we're in HQ2.
Okay.
I'm on second floor now. So we were using an
Cube.
No. Cubes have now been removed. Space is an issue, so no more cubes. You're now all at desk. But there was an empty office that hadn't been occupied. We were using it as a meeting room. So I was using that to meet all the artists and negotiate the contracts for Nikona. So Jalango comes in, and I told him what it is I want, and I said, you know, what is it that you want in return? Because for 9 months, I will milk this cow. So I said, you better charge us what you know you're worth, because honestly, in every month, I'm going to want 1 to 3 appearances, social media, all the stuff you could imagine. We will make, and you're going to come to rehearsals, and you're going to go to shops, and you're going to do performances and everything. And he gave me a figure, and I was like, hey. I was like, no, I think you're undervaluing yourself.
For real?
And we made him a counter offer. He couldn't believe it. But he was,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair. But if ever you bring him on this chair, he'll tell you that story
Yeah.
better than I do. But he did. And he says he built his mother's house from that paycheck.
Wow. So help an artist. I mean, same here. Safaricom has put a lot of money in my pocket. I'm not going to lie. I was Groove Award MC. During
Yeah.
COVID, I was a host of Bays. I did stuff with, so I understand it's put in fact, but no one ever taught me how to charge. And as a musician or an artist at that time, the intimidation of Safaricom, you're scared of putting a figure
then
that is
not
too
getting
high.
the work, yeah.
And then you're
and
scared
it's
to
still a
feed the
reality
figure.
for us
They
today.
see-
Richie, I have my own business. Sometimes you quote a client, like, is it too little because it's not worth because we have 20 people on the project? But if I put this, the finance person won't pass the code through and we lose. So that it's not a Safaricom thing. It's an everyday, whether it's a creative or the people who really know their worth are the ones who are willing to stand. But it's a risk even today.
Yeah.
You're told you're expensive.
So how does it work from the sponsor side? Like so that's why I was asking this question. From your side when it sat, had you already sort of put an idea of a figure?
You don't walk in blind. You put a budget and you say, okay, for MC, we should be looking at this range. For these artists based, and everybody has a value. You can't come and say you're worth the same as BN today, right? He's built his brand. He's invested. His brand is worth X. You're not going to compare BN to I don't know who and then say, but we are so-and-so is charged. I hate that conversation because I'm like, hey, BN has put a machinery behind
You're
his
catching
brand.
him after the 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You were still in the 10,000 hours.
Yeah, but pay people what they're worth. That's the brand value, right? That's what you're getting in return. So I didn't want to negotiate a contract that was less than what the person deserved. And then halfway through, they feel like, oh, I'm doing so much and I want to renegotiate my contract. Because once finance rubber stamps my paper, I ain't going back to get more money. I'd rather we finish early and we finish where you feel it's a win and we feel it's a win.
Have you had instances where you go back to finance and be like, yo, we need to add some money here?
Of course, that happens.
Okay. This is so healthy. So it's the dance between you knowing your value and quoting your value, and in some instances having to say no, rather than you taking something cheap because you're broke at that moment, and then you
can't deliver, and then and I mean, and it's still a struggle today, even as somebody who has to, we work on a event agency fee structure. Some people want here but have this and you negotiate. Some people lock you out. Some people, it just depends, Richie. There's no, traditionally there's a formula of percentages, but I don't believe it works.
Okay, yeah.
I don't believe it works because I've seen clients who'll come and say, okay, this is a 50 million shilling project, and out of this 18% will be going to you. And then they realize, so when they start removing things of the 50 million shilling and start paying for some certain things directly, and you're left with 2 million, how are you supposed to execute the same event? So I don't believe that, and I don't go for that structure.
And for the B company, and we're jumping here and there, but it's fine. The B company, the B experience company.
But you can just call us B.
Yeah, B.
BE.
BE. Yeah, I like the B experience. Okay, so with that, are you the ones who negotiate with the artists? For example, Soulfest?
Yes. Well, we do it together with the Soulfest contract for us is a very good one because it allows us a seat at the table.
Wow.
They're not treating us as a supplier. I'm the festival director. Kavuda is the music director. Moriasi comes in business development, legal, marketing. Moriasi is an all-rounder. I've always said the most genius marketer sitting in this country is Moriasi. When you sit with Moriasi and you listen to that man and how he wants to market things, hands down, I'm yet to meet somebody at that level. And I have come from the marketing world and I think I know well. And then the four
Just
the four
added
guys.
a list, a name on my CTA list. Thank you.
Put Moriasi here. His brain travels faster than he does. He's really an asset. And then the 4 guys. So we are a steerco and we have a seat at the table. And whereas we're their agency and we are quote unquote employed by them to deliver Soulfest, they also have given us a seat at the table, a voice, and a decision making. So I have a decision making. So, for example, last year we really struggled with what the music policy is going to be, and I think for two months, the whole room was fighting because we couldn't agree. We were about to sign an artist. Some of us were agreeable, some of us were not. You have those healthy fights, etc. So there are contracts where you're at the table, and there are contracts where clients tell you, this is what I want.
I just want to demystify what you've said there. So for this Soulfest, what it ended up being a Kenyan only.
Yes, the one.
Yes, Soulfest.
So remember, 2023 is when the boys were taking a break. And you know what's beautiful is, for me, it was such a full life circle moment, because these are guys that I used to book in Safaricom. They were at some point such a big part of my bookings, because when they released Sura Yako, they were the it thing. And everybody, even staff parties, guys were like, do not just... If Sauti Sol didn't come, the staff party didn't happen, right? So these were people that had been such a big part of my journey. And then we didn't talk for a couple of years towards the end. I think life happened. I was in Safaricom doing my thing. They had blown up. They were doing other things. They were on world tours, etc. But when I left Safaricom, I remember Bien and Savara, they all the guys came to the farewell, and specifically Bien and Savara stand out because they both came, and I thought they'd come to sing at my farewell, and they brought me a really beautiful portrait, hand-drawn, as my farewell gift. And Bien, being Bien, was like, Mr. Kuja farewell yako, nimekuja, we need to meet, sir. So I said, okay. He said, now that you're out of Safaricom, you need to help us with Soulfest. And Richie, in my head, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. What do you mean you want me to come and run Soulfest? I'm a one-man show. I'm barely making it out of this building. I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. What do you mean come and run Soulfest? So I met Bien at Art Cafe. We had the first meeting, but they had gone too far along in the 2022 one. Sorry, it was the 2022 one, the one that happened in KICC. We didn't feel like we came in October, it was happening in December. We wouldn't be able to turn it around in a way we wanted. So we agreed we'd come on from 2023, which was fabulous because it was the year they were going to take ahead. So for me, it was such a, even if they didn't want to pay me, and thank you for paying me for the work, but I would have still done it, because for me, it was such a beautiful moment of sending these guys off in a way that was beautiful, to take this break after so many years of being Sauti Sol. So it was I cried. Richie, I cried. That week I cried almost every day I went home, because I was like, oh my God, I get to do this for these men.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was beautiful. And then, so 2024,
so they don't just 2023. Hire you. That's a very unique place that you've been positioned.
Yes.
Okay.
My voice matters, and I think that's so important. They've actually brought us to the table.
Did you negotiate that? Or did you even know that was possible? Or
they said, we are not events people. We don't do this. We are artists. We are businessmen. We need somebody like you who does this for a living to come and help us run Soulfest well.
Wow.
So recognizing and admitting that I don't claim to be an accountant, so why would I even start trying to run my books? I have an expert to do that, and he runs that side of the business.
But even his brilliance to realize...
all 4 of them were aligned. Yeah. Didn't walk in alone. Yeah. They were like, you go look for Zah.
And it's you see, that's what I was trying to say. They're not looking for the guys who are doing the events, the sound, the lights, the guys. They could identify, maybe because they loved what they saw in terms of the excellence and the quality you were delivering within Safaricom.
I think also there was a trust factor. They knew me. They were friends. They all became friends.
Yeah, that's how much you worked together.
Yeah, I mean, we were attending their weddings. I was now part of their everyday life. And like I said, it wasn't like we were besties and we're hanging out every week, but there was a mutual respect for the craft, for who we are as people, the trust, here is this baby. I need us to bring this baby up together.
Okay,
We're almost co-parenting, for lack of a better word.
we'll talk about the future of Soulfest, or at least because I think I was telling you off camera. I truly think that this is going to be one of Africa's or one of the global biggest brands, but definitely within this region.
That is the aim, and if you look at it, every I panic about this or that, and they always tell me, and Morias is their voice because they're all in different spaces, but Morias is the grounding factor. He says that we're not worried about the today. Don't worry about the today. It's the tomorrows that we're focused on. So even if sometimes there's no, for whatever reason, there may not be revenue earned this year because no shortcuts are cut. We don't cut shortcuts, which means we may not make money. The boys are like, it's okay. We understand this is going to come back in 5 years' time. It's going to be big. They're very visionary, and that really helps.
I don't want to move now just because of something you said. Soulfest can be sold out to the max.
Mm.
People paying 3,500 bob per ticket. And you're telling me you're still not making money?
If you knew the machinery, people think Soulfest is the week of the event. We've already started working in this year's Soulfest. People are being paid, things are happening. We're the only one, arguably, regionally, and I'd like to really look for anybody else who's doing what we're doing, even in the region, who are rehearsing 3-4 months prior, full time, with a full 3 bands this time. I think 18 to 22 dancers. There's a whole ecosystem. I think in my team alone, we're 35 people managing Soulfest. Some start now, some will come in the week of the event. The security systems, the ticketing system, the setup. I don't know if you've been to Soulfest, but if you see, there are no shortcuts.
There are none.
That costs money. And that money doesn't all come from sponsorship. No one has given us 100 million and said, here's your 100 million run Soulfest. Richie, we stand there and we're like, shit, are we going to make, excuse my French,
no, I get it.
Are we going to make money this year? And if we don't make money, where are we getting the deficit to pay everybody? Because no one should tell you that they're owed money from Soulfest.
This is just incredible.
As much as you, and it's not my place to talk about the books, but I think when people see this big thing, they assume it just happens. But there's a lot of behind the scenes that is hours and hours of planning, of thinking, of happiness, of tears, of work. Like the year Sauti were going to take a break. The rain was so bad on the Tuesday that we had to reset everything. We had to send our teams home. The first show is on Thursday night. Stage is not functioning on Tuesday night. It's rained. It's money. We're having to hire more tents. None of this was planned for. It's the stage is all wet. The equipment, the lights, the screens, they're all wet. We have to bring in new. That's 10 million bob you didn't see coming towards you that you're going to have to spend. But you don't take shortcuts because you've promised your customer. The boys have to live in a big way. There's no shortcut. And the show happens, Richie, and it's raining and people are like, this is the best show ever, we ain't moving. And you thank God that it's raining because you're also crying and the rain just looks like it's wet, but you're really crying because this is so much to. So yeah, Richie, people think, Soulfest must be, it's hours and hours.
People see the glory, but they don't know the story.
That's Soulfest. And there are many like that. They're just, but Soulfest is definitely a passion. It's a love for me. It's a baby I'm so happy to be carrying on my back.
Okay, I'm glad we touched on this. And let's take a 2-minute break. We come back, we go back to this Nikona era and then come up.
Cool.